Mic check, mic check. What's going on, world? You already know it's your boy SB, and just want to welcome you back to another episode of the Sauce Files. Again, this isn't season 6 of the podcast. This is just some inspirational words to keep you prepared and keep you on your toes, just to give you some fresh stuff to think about as we get prepared for season 6 of the Roll Up Podcast. Today's conversation is one that we can all benefit from, and I hope you'll receive these words with an open heart and an open mind. Sometimes I'm on social media and I'm always the one that's trying to give unsolicited advice to somebody. But it's always something that's useful and not degrading. A lot of times, I type a heartfelt message and then I delete it because I read the room in the comments and it's not even worth it. But literally 15 minutes ago, I saw a post that I couldn't ignore. But instead of commenting, this is what we got. So here we go. When it comes to facing challenges in our lives, or we are at a crossroad at a difficult decision to make, or we're facing an unseen hiccup in the plan, it's important that we take control of the narrative before the narrative takes control of us. And today's quote by Charles F. Stanley sums it up perfectly, and I hope this conversation brings you clarity and calmness. The quote reads, "Adversity is always unexpected and unwelcome. It is an intruder and it is a thief. But in the hands of God, adversity becomes the means through which his supernatural power is demonstrated." That couldn't be any more closer than the truth, and here's why. That breakup that you didn't see coming happened for a reason. That hiccup on your job, it happened for a reason. That life-altering event that changed your life and gave you another chance at life, it happened for a reason. Don't you dare give more credit for the enemy attacking you than you give the angel credit for saving your life. When things happen in our lives, it's important that we get on top of the narrative and give it meaning so we can use it as fuel versus letting the devil on our shoulder convince us of something completely different. We've all seen the cartoons of old with the devil on one shoulder and the angel or the voice of reason on the other shoulder. One comes to wreak havoc while the other comes with understanding. Just like the quote says, adversity is always unexpected and unwelcome. It is an intruder and it is a thief. When we are faced with adversity, it's important that we listen to the angel when he or she says that this situation happened for a reason, and it's up to you to decide if it was for a greater cause or if the journey to this point was all for nothing. Nobody can make that decision for you. Not a therapist, not a friend, not me, not any other podcast host. Only you can make that decision for yourself. Because here's the craziest part. The second you believe that adversity happened for a reason, you'll move mountains. You'll climb the highest heights and climb out of the deepest valleys to find out what that reason was for. Just follow me real quick. Think about it. I'm sure by now you've seen at least one of the Spider-Verse movies, and I hope that you saw the most recent one because it's pretty fire. But I also want to point out I'm not getting paid for this. Just wanted to make a point. Uncle Ben's death was the reason majority of the Spider-Man became Spider-Man in the first place. But then here comes Miles Morales. He got bit by a spider from another dimension, and Miguel O'Hara tried to convince him that he was a mistake. But Miles didn't agree. In the final fight scene, he said, "Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm going to do my own thing." Even though the movie ended on a cliffhanger, in my opinion, the movie could have ended right there, and that would have been enough. But to bring it back home and tie back into the conversation for today, everybody is telling you what to do with your life. Everybody is telling you how to think or what is and isn't acceptable. In the grand scheme of all of this, it's all noise. The only thing that matters is what you tell yourself. If you believe you're a mistake, you will always experience situations that validate that belief. If you believe that you're a failure, your experiences will mirror those beliefs. And it's time to stop that downward spiral and change the conversation that you have within yourself. Because here's the real truth. If you can change the meaning of the adversity, you will see that God is aligning you with the stars. If you can train your mind to hold on to that silver lining, you will see that the adversity was all a part of the plan. You will see that that breakup was making room for somebody to come into your life and appreciate you the way you need to be appreciated. 90% of the time, that person is you. Sometimes losing that job or walking away from that opportunity was the Canada event that shapes you into a multimillionaire. And I'm gonna give you one last example, and we're gonna put a fork in this whole conversation. We'll talk about the full story on a later day at a later time. But there was an event that happened in my life that changed everything. It was the most unexpected thing that could have sent me on a crash course. But because I took control of the narrative, I was able to create my first book. In the heat of the moment, this event that I'm referring to, it broke me to a level that I didn't think I could be broken down to. But I took charge of the narrative, and it's put me in some pretty interesting conversations. Little did I know that the title of my first book, it was called Here's the Truth, You're One Decision Away from Changing Your Life. That book was a prefix to where we are today. Three self-published books, 100 plus episodes of the podcast, becoming an executive contributor for Brains Magazine, and some more stuff that I can't tell you about just yet. But the point that I'm making with this entire conversation is this. It's time to change the story that you tell yourself. Sometimes God has to make us uncomfortable to make us grow. Sometimes certain people in certain situations get removed out of our lives. Sometimes we are left to pick up the pieces. But in the face of this adversity, it is a necessity that we change the way we speak to ourselves and we be careful who we listen to. Because if we're going to keep it a buck, listening to the devil on our shoulder will give us the immediate win. But when the dust settles, it'll put the finishing touches to an already burning flame. However, if we listen to the voice of reason, we'll be able to hold our head high as we regroup. By holding our heads high, we are becoming aware of the opportunities around us, and we will be exposing ourselves to the positive outcomes of our lives. It's a hard thing to accept. I'm not even going to lie. It is very hard to accept that everything happens for a reason, because some really wild shit happens sometimes, and it's demoralizing. But if we can learn to listen to this voice of reason, continue to show up for ourselves, continue to show ourselves grace, compassion, and forgiveness, we will be able to grow into the person we were meant to be. We will look back at the adversity and laugh, because what we thought was sent to destroy us actually put us in alignment with what we really needed. So, with that being said, man, again, like I said, these episodes are going to be short and quick. That concludes today's episode of the Sauce Files. Make sure you tap into saucebradybooks.com. Get that free copy, their free ebook download of The Power of Belief. I will be at Phoenix and Dragon Bookstore on July 26th from 12 to 3 doing the book signing for The Power of Belief. That's going to be the fourth stop of the Power of Belief book signing tour. I got some more dates, some more spots that I'm trying to get finalized right now. But just trust me, dog. We going somewhere, man. We going somewhere. So I appreciate y'all tapping in. If you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to the campaign. Make sure you go check out the Sauce Factory in the spot. Grab you some merch, man. And as always, man, get lifted. Stay inspired. Roll that shit up, man. It's your boy.